Snow White, the live-action version of Walt Disney's animated classic masterpiece, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, is now in its second weekend in theaters. And how is it holding up? Well, worse than even expected. Yes, while many expected Snow White to be a flop, I don't think anybody expected it to be a flop of this magnitude. And why? Well, sure, there are reasons.
Please, you are saying...
Yeah, it didn't stick to the original Snow White classic story, it added in bandits, it changed the narrative, there are overtones of communism, Gal Gadot doesn't exactly shine as the evil queen, but with all of that said and done, what is the real reason, the major reason this is a major flop? Well, that would be placed squarely on the shoulders of Snow White's main star, Rachel Zegler. And the question everyone is asking is, why? Yes, why is Rachel Zegler far and away the biggest reason this movie is a flop? What has she said? What has she done? Why is she so disliked? And as we dive into why Rachel Zegler is so disliked, we want you to know that we like you, the greatest audience on all of YouTube, and we hope that you will like us by liking this video down below, because that would be very cool and not at all
weird.
And now let's dive in to Snow White's major Rachel Zegler problem. What is going on with Snow White? Now, there has been so much news about Rachel Zegler. Every time she posts something, I feel like she's one of those people that when it comes to interpersonal communication with general audiences, she just doesn't know how to communicate. It seems to me that she only knows how to resonate with her bubble. With her sphere of people. In other words, she doesn't know how to talk to general audiences. And because she doesn't know how to talk to general audiences, there are people who have clearly encouraged her to not be the kind of person who apologizes, which is basic. I'm just going to say this, guys. If you don't know how to say I'm sorry, if you don't know how to be humble, if you don't know how to apologize, and you're the opposite of all those things, I mean, if you read the Bible, all of those qualities don't come from heaven, they come from the other place, right? So, and I'm not saying that she goes out purposely. I would never do that. I'm just saying that she doesn't realize that she's exemplifying those traits. She needs to be humble, and it seems like she has no humility whatsoever. So Zegler doesn't know how to be humble. That is such a character detriment when you're trying to appeal to the public masses. Why would you keep putting out there when everything that you've done in the public sphere, okay, starting with West Side Story, has been a complete flop? Every single thing that she's been in, she has basically been box office poison. So my question is, why? Why would you not learn from that? Every single movie, I think there was one called Y2K that she was in, complete flop. West Side Story, complete flop. Hunger Games thing, a flop, but not as bad. Shazam 2, also a flop, but not as bad. However, I think that if Rachel Zegler had not been in Shazam 2, it would have even done better, because Zachary Levi is just way too likable of a character and of a person. Zachary Levi, he knows how to talk to the public. He's not the best actor in the world, but he's great at playing the roles that he plays. And it's just so strange. And here, yes, narcissists revel in all the attention, even negative. Her talking video of herself in the theater was very telling. She came off mentally unstable. Well, she's admitted that she's mentally unstable, but the thing is, she doesn't seem to do anything about it. I think that if she came out in a video, remember the video that she had, and let me see if I can just bring it up on X. I'm going to play the video, and then I'm going to give you exactly my take on the way that video should have gone. This is the video, this Rachel Zegler video. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. Now,
hates when I win. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws And despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
I will tell you that couldn't, like, how does she not realize that comes off as so completely cringe? Like, so here's my point. The reason I wanted to play that video is because in the same video that she put out, had she done it a different way, she could have won back audience. And I really, truly believe this. But she would have had to have felt a different way, truly, sincerely felt. So I have learned in my life that when I make a mistake, I need to feel the pain of that mistake. I need to overcome my pride, and I need to have a broken heart, right? Like my heart literally needs to break, and I need to have a contrite spirit. And if I don't have a broken heart, and if I don't have a contrite spirit, then I'm probably not feeling the way I should feel. If I try to justify my poor actions, that's only going to make it worse, right? So my point is that if she truly realized all of the pain and sorrow that she's causing people by putting out hate messages against, for example, half of the voters in our nation, right? More than half, really, the majority of people. She's put out hate against the majority of people. By doing that and not realizing how wrong she is just ostracizing the vast majority of her audience. Even people that like are common sense people that are on the left still cringe at that kind of stuff. Even Bill Maher is probably like, that girl's just wrong, right? So if she put out a different video, like the same type of video, but she would have said, I need to address something. I need to apologize. I realize I've made mistakes, big mistakes. There are things that I have done. I probably should not be posting about my political beliefs in a thread that is about a movie that is supposed to come out, knowing that I can ostracize half the audience. And I apologize for that. I apologize for putting Gal Gadot, in my co-star, in so much trouble that she needed extra security detail. I apologize for, I mean, there's a lot that she could apologize for. I apologize for insulting Walt Disney and the original Snow White, as the original Snow White was a classic fairy tale that in the time that it came out was very, very appropriate, and it gave people the hope that they needed. If she actually truly apologized, and sincerely so, and really truly felt those things, which I don't believe she does, and I don't believe she's going to, I think that she could win back over audiences. But in order for that to happen to somebody like her, it would take all of Hollywood banning her, banishing her. She needs to be banished from Hollywood. She should not be allowed to be in any mainstream Hollywood production for maybe a decade. And then maybe she'd realize, I mean, she was paid $2 million to play Snow White, and she was unheard of before she was cast in that role. Okay, she was also cast in West Side Story. I don't know how much money she got for that, but she got $2 million to play Snow White. Do you know how much that would change the lives of ordinary folks like most of us watching today? Most of you watching, me, myself included, $2 million would absolutely change the course of my life. And I would not insult the very property that gave me that opportunity as she has done. And what is the result? The end result of that insult is going to be shown over here at the numbers. And let's just put this on the screen so you guys can see this is where we are at today. Here are the numbers. The domestic box office still is only at $50 million. International is going down. It's actually, remember that how in the initial week of release, the international box office was better than the domestic? It's going down. It's only 43 million. So worldwide, we haven't gotten through the weekend, so we'll see what the weekend holds. We'll see what the weekend drop is. But worldwide, this thing still hasn't creeped up to $100 million. on a $270 million reported production budget, probably more cost after reshoots and then marketing. So we're probably looking at $500 million to produce and market this thing, and it hasn't even made back $100 million, which means that the studio hasn't even gotten $50 million back for this. That is flop city big time. Will it leg out? I don't know. This weekend, it doesn't go up against much. Next weekend, it goes up against Minecraft. And that's where families are going to be taking a lot of their kids to. I mean, lots of kids play Minecraft, and lots of kids want to see that Minecraft movie. Even I don't think it looks like a good movie, but I think kids are still going to flock to see it because it doesn't look horribly bad. It just looks like it's a movie. So the numbers tell it all, and it's just really, really sad. She's not the only reason it's flopping, to be fair. Disney released the scene with the evil queen where she's singing, and I love Gal Gadot, but that whole singing thing should have been left out. The funny thing is, it looks great. It looks grand. It just doesn't feel Snow White. It just doesn't feel appropriate for Snow White. I really feel like the live action Snow White could have been a great movie. Like I was watching Cinderella last night, the live action Cinderella, and it's really good. It's a really good movie. It's not the greatest movie ever, but it's really good. Sticks to the general story of Cinderella. I would have loved to have seen a Snow White where they expounded on the story of the prince and they expounded on the story of Snow and the evil queen, because the cartoon version of Snow White, the animated classic, it starts kind of after a lot of the story should have been told. Like there's a lot of backstory missing from it, and that's the part that I think they could have added. They didn't really need to add anything at the end, but just at the beginning, told the story from there. No bandits needed, just 7 real dwarf actors would have made this much more fun. It would have been so much of a better movie. It could have been a great movie. Maybe they'll eventually do a live action Snow White that's correct and try to pretend like just brush this one under the rug like it never happened. And maybe this time hire an actress who not only looks like Snow White, not only sounds like Snow White, but also embodies her sweet, kind persona. Because let's not forget that it's things like this that ruined the movie.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
So even though Disney is trying to gaslight audiences with posts like this in a weak attempt to get people back into the theaters, I don't think it's going to work. Because audiences like you, the greatest audience on YouTube, will never fall for this. No, Disney, you cannot get people to like what is simply unlikable. But what is likable is this video. Yes, please do click that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please do click that notifications bell, because when you click it, you stick it to the YouTube algorithm and you get notified of all of our uploads here at Follow the Bradleys Fun. Also, please do leave a comment before you head out the door. What are your thoughts on Rachel Zegler on Snow White? Is she the biggest reason for the fiasco, or do you have a different idea? Comment below. Thank you so much, and until next time, we will see ya real soon. Bye, everybody. Ciao.